Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get going. It is 10 a.m. and I try to be very respectful of your time. So I know that I said hello, but again, hello again to everyone. I'm sure we'll get some more people to join in, but I want to go ahead and get started. My first question is, how is your new year shaping up so far? Let's get a little feedback. Are you off to? Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Mark.
We're working and making progress.
Good, 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 good. Crystal, how about you?
I can you hear me? I don't know if I'm still
Yeah,
muted.
I can hear you. No, I can hear you. Or we can
Okay.
hear you.
I just closed one recently, so I'm feeling good about that.
Woo-hoo. Awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
What about you, Miss HP? For those of you that don't know, Cheryl is my HP. That's my nickname for her. So HP.
I'm sorry, I missed your question. I was just signing on.
Oh, so sorry. So no, I was just asking how everyone's new year was starting. How was it going?
Oh gosh, good. It's great. It's busy. It's always I always love the first part of the year because I don't know, just have so much energy about what's going to happen.
Awesome.
Optimistic.
Awesome. So I know Carrie on Oahu just joined in. He is my amazing counterpart. Carrie, how is your new year shaping out? So far.
No, it's been great. Just kind of taking more time to spend time with my kids when I'm not here because I tend to like take my work with me and constantly be working. So New Year has been great.
Awesome, awesome. So thanks for asking, but my New Year's was fabulous because I started the new year out in Jamaica. So I'm like feeling really good about everything. Even if it's a problem, it's good. So
sounds like we all need a trip to Jamaica.
Yeah. So I'm back in the swing of things. So without further ado, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about database management. And I want to be very methodical in explaining how we got to this training and where we're going forward. So as a backdrop for those that may be watching the recording and or joining in later, a couple of things I want to note. Last year, Lisa wanted to introduce a program entitled Database Management. And what we decided to do was to not launch it as a full-fledged program, but take the time and launch it as a pilot program to kind of learn and kind of grow and see, you know, kind of what things need to be tweaked to make sure that when we do roll out the official program, it is meeting the need of the agent. So that's for first and foremost. So I took it upon myself to volunteer because it's in the wheelhouse of command to be the liaison for the program and to monitor the program. So I committed to every 30 days checking in with all of the agents that had signed up. And one of the things that I noticed early on was that there was a gap in terms of the program, in terms of what the program is doing or functioning as, and what the agents needed. And so what the purpose of this class is to, we have 45 days left in the pilot program. So what I felt like putting on my teacher hat is I wanted for us to hit the reset button, take a step back and really analyze how to make the agent successful that participates in this program. So we've got 45 days, and within those 45 days, I've counted them. I want to make sure that the agents that have signed up, there's still slots available, that if you haven't signed up, you can sign up. If you have signed up, I want to give you the tools to make it a success so you can take this program and go to the next step. So I'll take a step back and take a pause. Any questions or concerns about the context of what we're doing today? Does it sound good, bad? Questions?
Sounds good. I've had very limited participation in the past, so
Okay.
I'm catching up.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so what I'm going to do is dive right into it. The first thing I want to do is I want to share something with you, which is this. So can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so the first thing I want to share is this, and I'm also going to put this in the chat. So give me just a moment. So first and foremost, before we get into the program itself, I do want to make sure that all of the agents have this that are either on the call or watch this recording. This is a Google Doc that in the event that you cannot reach Carrie or myself, or you need a quick how-to, a quick fix, keep this link in your browser, save it in your favorites, but this is a quick and accessible document that has all of the applet categories in command. So I'm just scrolling through. It has the subject of what it is or how it functions or what the need is. And then it has the corresponding video link, whether it's a YouTube video and or a Loom video. What I tried to do was every time I created or recorded a training on a specific thing to address in command, I tried to keep it first under 5 minutes and tried to make it like, I have a problem, here's the solution. So no, fluff, it's just getting to whatever the heart of the issue is. So hopefully, in terms of having troubleshooting tips at your fingertips, that's awesome. I haven't had coffee. That is something that I wanted to point out as a resource. So does that seem like it'll be helpful for you guys to have that?
Yes.
Absolutely. Where do we get it?
So
Yeah,
I put the link in the chat. Yeah,
Thank you.
so I put the link in the chat. Just click on it, save it once it pops up. It will also always be in my footer. So when you email me and there's either an automatic response or when I respond, it will also be in that link as well.
That's
And
a great
it's
idea, LB. Great idea.
it's constantly updated. So you'll see like the latest version. So anytime in the future, I add quick little how-to videos, it will be uploaded based on the category in terms of the applet. So you can sort by which applet you want to find, and then looking at the description of what you're trying to do, and then the corresponding link.
So Latasha, just as an example, one of the things I'm trying to currently do is to fix my sync between Google Contacts and Command.
So yeah, so I would first look here, and if there isn't one, then just reach out to me. And then what I do, and oftentimes what I'll do is just for this, I may not have the exact video. If you can't find it, look into syncing or contacts would be the applet that it's appropriately connected to, and then see if you see it. If you don't see it, reach out to me and I'll add it. So then that way for future agents, not only it'll give you what you need, because it takes me, a minute or two just to do a quick Loom video, tell you what how to correct it. And then
Right.
I add that for future reference to agents.
Okay, so I'm just using that as an example. So I'm
Mhm.
not seeing it here. And
Right. So then just
how
send
would
me
how would this, what part of the spreadsheet would I look? Because this is probably going to grow. How would I find something like that?
So the first thing that I would do as a troubleshooting is first I would determine which applet matches that. So in terms of syncing, it's directly connected back to contacts. So then what I would do is in the applet category, you can either click this and do a search, or you can just look for everything that says, and it's in alpha order too. So then everything
that would come under, sorry, that would come under the contacts command
Correct,
or the contacts section. Okay.
Correct.
Okay. So I can see there's only 2 that are in
Right.
that category. So, okay.
And then just email me once I create that video for you, then I will go one step further and then add that to this sheet. So for future reference for agents, they will be able to see that. But
Right.
I would connect whatever your problem is or whatever challenge you have or opportunity, then understand the corresponding applet and command, and that's how you search it.
Okay, got it.
Perfect. Anyone else? Great question though. All right, so I am going to reshare and pull up the next thing, I believe. Is, maybe not. Hold on. I had it up, but I might have did something. All right. Thanks for your patience. Okay, can everyone see that?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, so database management. So we're going to talk about leveraging tips. And again, the premise is making sure that you have done all of these things to make sure that when you either decide to join database management and or if you're already in database management, helping you understand what you as the agent need to, what would be a best practice as an agent to make sure you have done so that when you pass the baton to Scott Leroy marketing team, they will be able to run with it. And then you can go to that next step. So this is making sure that you maximize your time as well as Scott Leroy. So what I do want to talk about really quickly is originally when we launched this, we had two companies. We had Elite VA and we had Scott Leroy. Hands down, most of the agents chose Scott Leroy. And for this simple reason, as you know, Scott Leroy, we have, they are a part of our onboarding process. And so for many agents, it was name recognition and comfortability. They were used to working with Scott Leroy, so they chose Scott Leroy. So what we decided to do was drop Elite VA and focus primarily on making sure that we just talk about Scott Leroy and that he is your resource. So wanting to make sure that we cover like what is database management, because a lot of agents were a little confused by that. So essentially what the database management piece is the Market Center's goal is all around the goal. The goal is just to provide you the tools and resources to maximize your database. So that's all database management is taking the contacts that you have in command and allowing you to create a system to work that database. That's the plain and simple dirty version of it. I shouldn't say dirty, but the clean version of it. So helping you to profitability. And it's a partnership. The other thing we want to be very clear is that there are some actionable items that the agents must do that will inhibit or be a missing hole, if you will, to where it'll basically create a lag in the system. So I want to make sure that we close those lags, close those gaps. And so we have the passing of the baton in a smooth process. So what I did is I broke it down, again, putting on my teacher hat, broke it down into steps. And so the first step to path to maximizing database management is the first step is making sure that you have your contacts in the command. I know it sounds elementary, but from what I saw, we wanted to make sure first that the contacts were added in command. So that's the first thing. If you don't have them in there, that's totally fine. We just need to know where they are. So I'm getting ahead of myself, but I'm going to break these steps down in a minute. So step number one is adding contacts in the command. Step two is know how you want to organize your business, i.e. tags. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. The third is smart plans. Know either the top 5 or the ones appropriate to your business. This is huge. This is one of the most common things that I saw is people, that third step was the whole holdup, is that we didn't have an understanding of either the top 5 and or the ones that you needed to make you a success. So that was a huge opportunity, that third step. The fourth is know your implementation strategy. So like you have them being Scott Leroy's team, add contacts to a smart plan, but then what's next? So there wasn't a plan of like how you're going to do, what's the follow-up? Once the SMART plan has been added, what are you doing to follow up? So there was a missing strategy behind that. And then the fifth one was know your follow-up strategy in general, essentially a step and repeat. So making sure that you have that clear line of what you are going to do. Number one, what are you doing to meet the person or to get the lead? Once you get the lead, what are you doing to nurture the lead? Once you nurture the lead into the process, the sale process, whether they are a buyer or the listing or on the listing side, what are you doing in that? And then once you hit that sold sign, what do you do after that? So just making sure it doesn't have to be a dissertation. You don't have to have 50,000 pages. It could be just bullet points. I do this, I do this, I do that. It could be a one page or it could be a paragraph, but just making sure you have a strategy. That is another thing that I saw that was another opportunity for improvement. So this will ensure success within the management. Any comments or questions about this? And the next slides are going to break each step down specifically and give you highlights of what to do. Questions or comments so far? All good? Okay. So question number one, or excuse me, step number one, contacts. So the first question would be, where are your contacts located? The first thing I want to encourage you is many of you on this call probably already have your contacts in command. The one thing that I will say is for the newer agents or agents that are adopting this, making sure that if you're trying to get your contacts out of your phone, the best practice is to download an app called CA. Download that app on your phone, put that in a CSV file. However, the key is making sure that CSV file is compatible to the one that's on command, meaning that when you're in command and you go to contacts, when it says add contacts, and I'll show you this later, on the left-hand side, it says import, making sure that CSV file is the one that you're importing. So take that CSV file from whatever you downloaded from your phone and make sure it's in that format and command, because most of the time I've seen agents that will get the app on their phone, download the app, download their contacts, have the CSV file, and then take that CSV file and try to import it in command. If it's not compatible with the one that command tells you to use, then you're going to run into problems. So that's just a hint for those of you that are using that. The second question is, have you uploaded your contacts in command? If not, do you need assistance with this? So whether it's me, whether it's Scott Leroy, making sure that you reach out to us to make sure that if you don't know where they are or need help doing that, we can help. I see something in the chat. Let me see. It's called SA. So what I'll do is, let me do this really quick. I'm actually going to, if I can, oops, may not let me. Let me see if I can put it in the chat. So bear with me just one moment so I don't forget to do this.
Well, and while Latasha does that, I think, a big hang up, especially if you're looking to do this the first time, is just like, oh, I'm not going to call that person, or your next stop is Zippy's and Zippy's phone number is in your phone. And you're like, I don't want that in my database. Know that it's easier to pull out your weird uncle or the person you won't call once it's on a spreadsheet, but trying to pick and choose from your phone who you want to export, just export the whole thing and then sort through it afterwards.
Every day I make around $10,000.
So when Natasha's talking about formatting, when you do that export, your CSV file, maybe it has the last name first, then the first name, then the address, then the phone number, but command format wants to recognize it as first name, then last name, then phone number and address, right? So if you want to take the time to cut and paste and get things in the right order, then more power to you. Scott Leroy is great. You just send it over to them and they'll get it in the right mix. That way that command would recognize it. So there's no work for you outside of getting that initial export.
Yep. Okay, can you all see that? Am I back where I was? Okay, perfect. Thanks, Carrie. I appreciate that. Any comments or question about the contact piece of it in terms of step one? So this is one of my favorite slides that I resurrected. This is the command contact score. The reason why I resurrected this, it's not Palm Sunday, but it's really good. This allows you to see the path to success as it relates to when you add your contacts. So yes, definitely add your contacts, but make sure that when you have your contacts in, or you have this basic information, and I'm gonna say why it's important, and Carrie can jump in at any point in time. You wanna first make sure that you have the first name, the email, the phone number, the address, lead source, contact, which we're going to get into contact tagging in just a minute, date of birth, social account, i.e. if they're on Facebook, Twitter, whatever, profession or company, we're going to get back to that in just a minute. And then that gives you the 100% contact score. It's not just the goal of getting 100% on your contact score. The more information you have, the better that you can leverage your database management. Meaning, if you have their phone number, email, then you can combine a smart plan that includes both emails and text messages. If you don't have their phone number, you can't send them a text message. However, with Command App, you can, but not in terms of a smart plan. So making sure that I say that very clearly. In terms of the lead source, knowing where you receive the lead from. Also knowing in terms of the lead source, if you want to set up tagging in terms of how you found the lead, and then are they on the buyer side or on the listing side? If they're hot, cold, medium, however you want to run your business, you want to make sure that you have the tag. The other thing that's not, well, it's connected to address, but this is key. One of the things that I saw in terms of my assessment of the database management is that you may have the address, but take it one step further. Make sure that you assign that person the neighborhood. So you have their home address, but what is their new home address, or what is the new neighborhood that you're trying to farm for them? So if they are on the mainland, but they want to be in Wailea, have you assign them the neighborhood of Wailea? The reason why I'm taking the time to ask that question is it prohibits you from utilizing the neighborhood nurture if you don't have the neighborhood added. So just making sure that you do those little things, so then when you turn this project over to Scott Leroy's team, they can just, straight out the gate, pedal to the metal. They're working for you. So just making sure you take the time to set those things up so that you can move forward in the process. Someone had a question.
Yeah. So correct me if I'm wrong, but I played around with it a little bit, and it seems like if there are no listings in the neighborhood, the neighborhood nurture does not go out. Is that correct?
No, it will go out if you assign them a neighborhood. So
right.
You just
I tested it on myself, and I assigned my neighborhood, and then nothing happened. I waited for something to happen, and I waited some more, and then nothing happened. And then I checked, which I already kind of knew, there are no listings in my neighborhood. And if there are no listings, you do not get any email, and or nobody gets anything. So that's what I found.
Yeah, that's odd that there's no listing or no. So let's take a look at that and see, because I want to research that a little more, because I still get neighborhood nurtures for all the neighborhoods that I signed up for. So let me take a look at that.
Right, but if I signed up for multiple neighborhoods, then I would get something. But because I signed up for only one neighborhood and it has no listings, and there's many neighborhoods on Maui right now with no listings, then nothing goes out. So that's to me, that's kind of important.
Okay, yeah, let's look into that, because there still should be something, but let me look into that.
Okay.
Let's see, but it must have some sort of historical update. Yeah, so that's what I'm trying to get after, Cheryl, is there should still be some type of historical update. So I just need to take a look at that specifically and troubleshoot that. So just reach
Okay.
out to me, Mark.
Okay.
If I could jump in, because what might be happening, I didn't realize this. I had asked, depends on how you asked the question. I had asked Scott Leroy to add all my contacts to a neighborhood, which he
Mhm.
did. But they weren't getting a neighborhood watch because I didn't add them to the smart plan neighborhood nurture.
Yes.
Step 2.
So before you add them to the smart plan neighborhood nurture, you got to have the neighborhood. So I just want to make sure that we close all of those loopholes so that when Cheryl goes back and says, I need you to do this, it's good to go and there should not be any issues. But great point to bring up. Great point to bring up. The other thing I want to talk about really quickly in tagging is the professional or company name. Especially for the new groups that have like the sports and entertainment group that Keller Williams has, it's important, depending on what your business strategy is, if you are going to specifically target veterans or specifically target people in professional sports or whatever it is you want to target based on your comfort level, your hobbies, your interests, you want to make sure that you have a tag associated to that, so that when you're trying to leverage smart plans or leveraging anything within your database, you clearly have them tagged appropriately so you know how to work them, know how to nurture them. So that's the only thing I'll say about that piece. Any other comments, questions? Carrie, anything you want to add to this part before we move on to the next? Awesome. Okay, step 2, tagging. So we've already kind of jumped into it, but there's 5 priorities or 5 things that you want to do from a tagging perspective. Number 1, you want to tag, and these are just best practices suggestions. It does not mean you need to do it. You just run your business how you need to run it. So then lead source, making sure you understand, like, where is this lead coming from? Get practical, example or suggestion. I'm always talking about, people that you meet in Safeway, people that you meet in Costco, Jamba Juice, wherever you're going, or however you want to do it, or you can just say networking or whatever it is, but figure out, what's going to be the best strategy for you in terms of understanding where your lead's coming from. Because again, you want to know, like, if it's coming from social media, then spend more time on social media if 80% of your leads are coming from there. So wherever it's coming from, understand that. Number 2, status in the process. This is huge. Status can be whether they're listing or the buyer side, but then status in terms of processing. Have they already worked with an agent that maybe it didn't work out? So they're like, they're in the middle stage and they just need you to do X, Y, Z. Or are they in the beginning stages? Are they a first time homeowner? Are they, they already have a home? Is it a second home? So understanding what that status is of that person is going to help you nurture them better in your database management if you know and tag appropriately where they are in that process. Are they, millennials? Are they, Gen X? Are they, whatever they are? Just understanding where they are in their life journey as it relates to real estate. That's going to be huge for you. The second thing is client type. Which is kind of some of the things could be applied to the client type in terms of, the buyer versus listing, first time home buyer, second home buyer, investor, those kind of things would be under the client type. And then neighborhood, we mentioned neighborhood, but I can't stress it enough, making sure that that you have the neighborhood assigned, added to that person. And then you also, when you go to add the smart plan knows which neighborhood to send them stats on. And then specialty group, we already talked about this, but can't stress it enough, whether you're targeting first-time home buyers, whether you're targeting buyers, whether you're targeting listers, whether you're talking, sports entertainment, veterans, people that cook for a living, whatever it is, just making sure those specialty groups are tagged appropriately. Does that make sense? Step 3, huge. This is the one that I spent a little more time on when we did just the initial steps. Understanding either, number 1, what are the top 5 smart plans? I did 6. And or what smart plans are going to help you leverage your business strategy. So whatever your strategy is, pick the smart plans that are appropriate to whatever your goal is. If you're farming a specific area for 2022, then you should have smart plans that center around farming that particular neighborhood area, whatever it is. So the top 6 to have in general: neighborhood nurture, whether it's monthly or bi-weekly, go in order, quarterly call plan in terms of picking up the phone every quarter, checking on them. Smart plan number 3, promote your app. Number 4 is the birthday. Number 5 is the home anniversary. And then 6 is a long-term nurture. These are the top 6. So if you want to just start with these, that's a game changer in terms of database management. And or if you want to get really hyper focused, then you look at your business strategy, your plan for 2022, and make sure that those smart plans that you're adding are supporting whatever that goal is. I'm going to take a pause for a minute. Questions, clarifying questions, ahas, oh me's, oh my's, validation.
I just wanted to point out that Mark had put something in the chat and a copy of what he actually got from that email regarding the neighborhood.
Thanks. I'll look at it. I'll copy it. So I'm just saving the chat right now. So I saved it. Thank you.
I think Latasha, what you said is perfect. Is like, what is your business strategy, right? Because then maybe your top 6 might include, I think all of those are great. Agents might shy away from that quarterly call plan, which, you know, I get that call reluctance. Then you know what, if you're dealing with more online leads and you just want, there are smart plans that say only text or only emails, right? Real estate is a contact sport and voice to voice is always great, but there are things in there that would do set up an email only smart plan, right? That you can mix in your calls as you grow more comfortable. But the main thing is to set up some kind of touch. So your top 6 might be different. So what you said about what is your business strategy and what is your follow-up strategy, identifying what that is for you as an agent specifically is hugely important.
And then keep in mind, to Carrie's point, you don't have to create a smart plan that's already created. If you feel like you need some customization because you have a specific hyper-focused goal, then take the time, you know, work with Scott Leroy, and or, you know, if you want to do it yourself, create your own custom one. So you can customize them as well. I just wanted to present you options where you can just have general best practice, and or if you want to take it to that next level, then you have the ability to do so. I just want to make sure that you have the plan in place, the strategy in place, all the foundational tools are there so that you can leverage your interaction within this management process, database management. So step 4, implementation strategy. So we've been talking a lot about this, but I just wanted to spell it out really clearly. The first question that I would ask in terms of your implementation strategy is, how are you generating leads? Like, where are your leads coming from? So then from there, once you identify where the leads are coming, what's the system that you have in place? So how are you working those leads? You know, you don't have to be very detailed, but just say, I do this, I do that, I do that. And if it's 3 steps, then it's 3 steps. If it's 1 step, then it's 1 step. But just making sure you have some sort of system so that when you're working with Scott Leroy in this program, you are maximizing your time as well as his time. So you can say, I need you to do this. And you know that whatever this is lines up with your strategy. You know, in terms of once you have the system, then is it repeatable? Is it written down somewhere? Is it in notes? You know, making sure that you can do a step and repeat. And then once you have the lead, do you have a process to nurture them? You know, what's that nurturing process? Whether it's a smart plan or quarterly call or whatever it is, do you have that little structure and that structure in place? And again, is that repeatable? If you notice there's a trend, it's step and repeat, because what you want to do is create consistency. That's going to also allow you to maximize your database is by doing the same thing every time, getting the same results. If the results are not good, tweak the process, then repeat it. Questions? Step number 5. What do you do on closing day? You don't have to tell me, but what do you do? Is it written down somewhere? And what do you do after the close? Are both steps repeatable? So whatever you do at closing, are you consistently doing that every close? Whatever you do after the close, are you consistently doing that? Whether it's a survey, whether it's a smart plan, there's tons of smart plans out there about follow-up for closing. You know, are you doing that? Are you utilizing Command? If you are using Command as your primary CRM, to actually close that file, to actually send out, you know, can you review my, you know, services or the gifts or whatever you're doing, making sure that you do it every single time. And you don't have to do the same thing for everyone, but let's say, for example, you have a silo of types of clients. Maybe you do something different for the buyers than you do for the sellers, or whatever it is, just making sure that there's a repeatable section or system for the buyer or for the seller. Or if you break it down in terms of silos, in terms of price point, maybe you do something different for, you know, the 750 and under. Maybe for the million and over, you do something different. So whatever that is, I'm not telling you to do it. I'm just saying whatever your system is, your silos of how you are tracking the types of clients, making sure that whatever that process is, you remain consistent. Thoughts, perspectives? We're doing this consistently. Yes, no? Question that I have for you, do you see how making sure that you have the foundation will make the process of the database management smoother? Do you see that correlation? So there may be some minor tweaks that you need to do. There may be some major, I don't know. But all I'm saying is just making sure that you do these kind of foundational tools and tips so that you can maximize your time and also Scott Leroy's time. Let's hear some feedback thoughts before we wrap up.
It reminds you, you know, even the steps you take after closing, is it repeatable is a great question, because it is, but even if it varies, if you almost have a smart plan for that, then it's going to trigger you on the right dates at the right time to do what you normally do, which is great.
Yeah. Great point, Cheryl.
So Command is an awesome, powerful tool. And my background growing up was in carpentry. And so I'm likening it to a skill saw. So if you have a plan and you measure carefully and you have a straight guide, you can do really great things with a skill saw. But if you just turn on and go wild, you could have some issues.
Yes, you are absolutely correct. So I'm just, you know, if in case you don't know, I'm very detailed focused. So I just want to make sure that whatever you're doing, however you're running your business, that you leverage this program appropriately so you get the most out of it. It doesn't matter how you run your business. It just matters how you support the business, meaning with the systems and processes, making sure that, you know, whatever it is, you just have support for it so that you can work smarter, not harder, and leverage the tools that we have. Command, you know, this program, database management with Scott Leroy, whatever the tools are, you know, at your fingertips, making sure you can leverage them. Anything else, Carrie, you have any final points? Other than that, I'm pretty much done. I will email this PowerPoint to you, and I will be following up with everyone within the database management program, but within the next 45 days, just to check in. But I'm hoping that we can all hit that reset button and figure out how we can leverage this program that is free even more.
So Latasha, I do have a question.
Yeah.
So now I remember, yes, I did sign up for the pilot, and yes, I did choose the non-Scott Leroy version. And I did not take the very first step, which, the very first step is they gave us a sheet of all the things we need to do to implement it.
Mhm.
And I did not do that, all that stuff. So
Mhm.
now for me to kind of start over on the Scott Leroy, I think it's probably a different checklist, a different thing. How do I do it?
So basically, the steps that I gave you today, if you do that, then you're going to be exactly where you need to be to work with Scott Leroy.
Okay.
Yep. So let me do one other thing while I have you all. I'm going to put, for those that need it, in the chat. Just give me a minute, because I'm actually going to put the link to sign up for Scott Leroy.
Yeah. And I'm not super clear on exactly what Scott Leroy does. I mean, I know I can send them and what I originally did was I sent 4,000 contacts with no tags and what have you. And it was unmanageable, very difficult, because there was, probably 800 garbage, but 3,200 that needed to be tagged. So now my goal is to put them I've got them tagged in my Google contacts. And so maybe I've got 100 of this type and 200 of this type, is to send them in batches and get them all tagged appropriately in the beginning of command, and have them in a spreadsheet the way Carrie was talking about. I started working on doing that. And so I'm just trying to make sure that I'm, if there is any kind of step-by-step instructions for that, that would be helpful.
Yep. So what I would do is the first step. It sounds like you have your CSV file in there. So the first thing I would do is, let me take a step back. So do you have, within your CSV file, do you have the tags that you want to add? Like, meaning, do you have like the agent name, or excuse me, client name, and then the appropriate tag that you want to see? Or how is it structured?
I got to go back and look, because I did the original was just using the CSV file that was provided for
Gotcha.
command, and I got that populated correctly. I did the download the Google CSV, and then I moved things around to make it fit the command way. And then I sent that to Scott Leroy, and then they uploaded it. But again, it was so I basically deleted everybody. So now I'm just got a couple little test things in command. But just it was determined that I'd be better to just start over. So that's where I'm at. And then the other thing that I do really want to get implemented is so when I talk to somebody on my phone, it automatically syncs their contact information to Google Contacts. And then if I could get that Google Contact to automatically go into command, and that's where the syncing is. And in fact, I stuck it in chat what my error message was.
I copied it, so I have it. I'll take a look at it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's my goal, and then it'll just be a new contact in command, and I'll go add whatever tags are needed, because I may tag them in Google Contacts, but I think as far as the big tag manage specific thing for command, that'll be done in command, and then go on to a smart plan, et cetera, based on the tags.
Yes. So I would say follow the process or the steps that I outlined today. But what I would probably encourage you, is just schedule one-on-one with me for 30 minutes so that I can actually take a look at your command and just make sure that we're on the right track. So when you get ready to work with Scott Leroy, that you're ready to go. So just set up a quick, 30-minute with me, just so I can look at your command and make sure we're all speaking the same language, on the same track. So then I can make sure that you leverage that opportunity to work with him.
Okay. And then remind us, maybe stick it in chat, how to schedule with you. I know I've done it before, and I could go back to emails and search, but
yeah, I'll do it right now.
I'm sure you know exactly how to do it.
So give me just a quick minute.
Cool. And for those of you you guys might be watching this on YouTube later, and maybe you find yourself, because command is overwhelming, right? And Mark, what that the tagging and syncing, and so if you have your database in there, there is nothing like some spring cleaning at any time. Spring cleaning any time of the year, right? Like dive in, like contact 10 people a day and do a little like, okay, mismatching, but like what we're talking about today of having that foundation, how do you want to segment your database with those tags? And then as you work through it, start recreating or getting your foundation, built. And you'll find some people as you contact, however, like they just say, or, don't call me. And then it's just like, then you're cleaning, then you're getting your database in the right way, just a little bit at a time. And you'll find momentum in there, and you'll find people that, especially if you're doing smart plans in bulk, people just say, stop, or whatever it would be, and it's that saying of, some will, some won't, who cares, next, right? Like consistent, repeatable activity with this great foundation will equal extraordinary results for you guys.
Could I piggyback on one thing? So the one thing I do want to point out, Mark, before I forget, is the reason why I'm showing, hopefully you can see the SLM Scott Leroy marketing page. The key thing that I want to point out is where it says enter your market center number. So ours is 1002. So once you hit 1002, I'm going to hit login just to show you really quick. And then it'll take you to these questions. And I don't want to do that. So then just put in your name, email, username, password, and then see where it says these are the basic things that he would need is, where are your contacts loaded? You tell them where they are. How often would you like your touch contacts, and what type of smart plans? So having that basic understanding is what Scott Leroy needs. But then what I outlined is taking it a step further. So once you hit submit, you're off to the races. You got everything done. And it's just a matter of like, if he gets the email and he's got the time to do it right now, then he starts right now. So you just want to make sure that those action items are immediately can be acted upon. Going back to valuable information that Carrie shared, one of the things that I have started doing, and I started doing this in Q4 last year, is if you use your phone for whatever reason, that some people that have social media, let's say you have Facebook on your phone. Can I get a show of hands? How many either have Facebook, Instagram, some kind of social media platform on your phone? That is a gold mine. What I started doing in Q4 to manage my database is when I was sitting down and I was watching TV, being lazy and enjoying it. If there was a commercial and I wanted to, if there's something that I wanted to promote or just to check in with my clients, I would just go on Instagram and send people, the 5 people that follow me, the first 5 that I see, I would just send them a quick message. Hey, just thinking about you, want to see how things are going or whatever. How easy is that? And then they, they're immediately, they're already following me from a business perspective, just sending that note saying, checking on you. I actually got leads from that, just doing simple things like that. So that's how you manage your database on this autopilot. Keep in mind that you've got this amazing new command app. Great opportunity. How you doing? Did you hear we had a revised, version of our app from your phone? Send them that, app link, just those are some things out of the box that you can do like in less than a second to maximize that database. So just thought I'd throw that out for what it's worth, but it works. So I would encourage you to, that's another strategy that you can do.
Hey, Latasha?
Yes.
So just a question on the smart plans. So let's say the smart plan is to send an email for neighborhood nurture as an example. And then is there the option to say, would you like more information? And then they click here and
yes. So
and then,
you
and then they may take, and then if it's do you want more information? The answer is no. It's a separate click, but it'll take them down a different path. So that would start them on a new smart plan based on what their answer to the question was.
So there is going to be some background, some behind the scenes kind of workarounds to do what you're trying to do. So what I would encourage you to do is, I know almost probably 99% sure there may not be a specific smart plan that does that exactly. However, you can either do one of two things. You can take a smart plan that is very similar to whatever you're trying to do or ask them, take that information and then just edit it and tweak it. And or if you don't find anything that you can at least start from and then start from scratch, the thing that you'll have to do some workarounds is just adding those links and kind of doing some more automation and setting up triggers and so forth. So it's going to take a little.
So could I ask via email and or text, are you looking for condo or single family home? And then they pick single family home, and then I take them down that path. If they pick condo, I take them down that. Are you looking for investment property, or are you looking for your next home? And it takes them down that path. Are those available?
So you would have to create that, because that's not something that's readily available. It can be done, but it's going to be a little work on the back end to make it. It may not be as complete, automated, easy button as you're looking for, but you can do it. It's just going to take some more work to set up that system to make sure it functions. There may be, how you're envisioning it functioning. It may not be the same way, but it'll be pretty darn close. So I just want to be very clear about that. It may not totally be automated, but you can get pretty doggone close with some workarounds.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Carrie, am I right?
Yeah, that sounds great. And that's a great idea, Mark. I mean, if you went to your website and you set up that single family home search in a certain area, that link is evergreen, right? So then it's just putting it in a bit.ly shortener, building that smart plan that, hey, this is my single family home thread. And so should somebody answer in that way, you have that, hey, here's this link for you. And when they go there, and anytime they go there, that link is always going to be live, right? And
so basically you're building landing pages.
Yeah. You're building landing pages, but you're really you're building a combination. So you're building a system, if you will. So you want to make sure that you have the smart plan. First of all, that you understand, get the links first. Let's start there. Let's start at the very beginning. You want to get the links, make sure the links work. Then once you get the links, then you want to establish a landing page. You want to figure out if you want to connect the landing page with your website, which I would say in this case is very hyper focused. I would encourage you to do that. You could do a separate landing page that doesn't show up on your website, however you want to do it. That's your choice. So then the link, the landing page, whether it's going to be linked to your website or not. And then from there, the smart plan. Once all of those systems are set in place, then you roll it out.
Okay,
and you
thank
embed all those goodness in those text messages or in those emails that are going out to that right audience. And yeah, and then you're just getting more and more feedback from them and getting them the information that they want.
And then take it one step further. And once you get that system in place, put those links also in your email footers. That's a missed opportunity. A lot of agents, a lot of people in general, regardless of industry, whatever program or whatever feature you're trying to highlight or whatever direction you're going in, add that as a highlight email footer to where you put that on your email footer. So no matter what you're sending out, people will see that. I can't tell you that's a game changer, because you won't even think about it anymore. And you'll send an email and somebody will say, oh, I saw so-and-so and so-and-so on your email footer. You're like, oh yeah, I did put that there. So just maximize that, put it in your socials, put it in your timelines, put it everywhere.
Yep. Thank you.
Okay. Anything else? All righty. Well, thanks for your time. I really appreciate it. And reach out to me if you have any questions, but I will definitely send you that PowerPoint presentation, and I'm here to help. Carrie's here to help. Reach out to us. We'd love to help you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Have a great week.